Thanks for tuning in again. Today we're going to be getting caught up on the news of the Wisconsin judge being arrested today by the FBI and the Justice Department. Judge Dugan, Hannah Dugan, was arrested today accused of obstruction. She's charged with helping an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest after he appeared in her courtroom. So I have several news clips I'll be playing for you, and I'll give my commentary. I'll also be asking for your input in the comment section below. So let's go ahead on and get started.
Another in a streak of intentionally intimidating acts aimed at key figures and institutions. This morning, agents with the FBI arrested a county judge in Milwaukee as she was in the parking lot on her way into court. She's now out on bond. According to the charging documents, the Bureau alleges this, quote, Judge Hannah Dugan obstructed the detention of an undocumented immigrant who was wanted by federal authorities. Just last hour, lawyers for that justice released a statement that reads in part, quote, Judge Dugan will defend herself vigorously and looks forward to being exonerated. Joining our coverage, former top prosecutor at the Department of Justice, MSNBC legal analyst Andrew Weissman's here, and Washington Post Justice Department reporter Perry Stein joins us. Tim Miller is with us as well. I want to go to the reporting. I do just because this moment has now come, I have to start with you. The FBI arresting judges and the director of the FBI tweeting about it. That's how I first saw it.
So there has been a violation here that we know for sure, and it is not the judge. That's something that remains to be proved. The thing that we do know is that the FBI director has violated DOJ policy. I know I can hear Tim looking at me going, that's so quaint.
The norms.
Right, exactly. But that is, you don't do it. Remember sitting here going, James Comey, really flouted the rules because he started talking about his own personal opinions of somebody who is not being charged. This is somebody who's being charged, and you are supposed to stay mum, and instead completely denigrated her, and you don't do that. The same thing, by the way, Pam Bondi was on Fox News talking about how we're going to go after judges. That is what they're doing. I mean, this is a much more sinister view of the president saying we need to impeach them that led to the Chief Justice having to step in. That is really the way to see this. Even if you thought that there was a ground for doing this, the judgment call that you thought that this is the case to bring, it tells you everything about what the strategy is. And that, by the way, that's a huge if. I mean, I can't imagine this case is going to hold up for a whole variety of factual and legal reasons. But again, there is no adult in the room who would have said, are you kidding me? This person was apprehended steps from the courtroom, steps from the courthouse. It's going to be so hard to prove, even if you could somehow show this was the judge's intent was to obstruct. Why would you possibly do this? And the answer is because we want to send a signal to the judiciary. And that's what you shouldn't be doing. I mean, that is fighting the last branch of government to oppose the executive branch.
As we can see here, the judge was arrested right outside of our courthouse. She wasn't given the respect of turning herself in, as Donald Trump was given with all of the cases that he was brought up against. They gave him time to turn himself in. He was in and out of the process of the arrest booking process, but they're not giving this lady the same respect. So this is what we're facing now. This Department of Justice, the FBI even tweeted about this. I'm pretty sure, like Nicole Wallace said, that's against the rules of the FBI and the Justice Department. But these people are lawless. They can care less about any rules. So we're going to see how this turns out. I think she's bonded out and everything. So we're going to be looking forward to her court case. We're going to continue, guys.
Gabe, let me start with you. President Trump just weighing in on the case of this Wisconsin judge. What's he saying?
Yeah, that's right, Kristen. Well, he was asked by reporters on Air Force One about this case. He actually pivoted to another case that's unfolding right now in New Mexico. There was a judge in New Mexico arrested this week for allegedly harboring a member of Tren de Aragua. That's what President Trump was referring to. But then, as you said, he made that broader point about the courts holding us back. In other words, his administration is really focusing on this issue that they feel that the court system as a whole is getting in the way of his immigration crackdown. We heard from the Department of Homeland Security also this afternoon pointing out that this was an undocumented immigrant that did have a criminal record, that had entered this country illegally twice. And so the White House is also talking about this no-nonsense approach and basically saying that judges who get in the way will be prosecuted.
Yeah, I mean, that takes me to my next question. What are the implications for other judges? We know that the president's clashing with a number of courts right now.
Yeah, that's exactly. And look, this shouldn't be a surprise in some ways, even though it's quite dramatic this morning to have a judge arrested in the parking lot of her courthouse.
Yeah.
So here we have it, our 34-count convicted felon president, sexual assault convicted felon president, weighing in on the criminal matter of him forcing his Department of Justice to arrest a judge for doing her job. He's out to be an authoritarian. This is why he said along on the trail at his rallies. He always talked about Viktor Orban. He has this affection for Vladimir Putin. He also has this affection for Kim Jong-un. This is who he wants to be like. America has due process. And I think that this Justice Department going after judges, it's going to be up to the rest of the judges, the circuit judges around the country, the federal judges, during this process with this judge to uphold the rule of law, to show this administration that they cannot just run rampant and do whatever they want to. This is what they want, free reign without any breaks. So, but this is not going to happen in America. This is a sad time we're living in right now. And I hope that this judge win every single case going through this process to set an example that you cannot just skirt the rule of law the way this president and his administration wants to do. So we'll see what's going to go on. We're going to move on to the next news source here, guys.
Federal authorities reportedly arrested a Milwaukee County Circuit judge this morning for allegedly assisting an undocumented migrant. In a since-deleted tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel, he said this judge was arrested on charges of obstruction related to an immigration arrest. NBC News law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter following these details for us. So, Tom, this is obviously late breaking. I know you were just running in here after checking court paperwork. What do we know about this arrest and this judge?
That's right. So Judge Hannah Dugan is the person who's been arrested here, facing 2 counts. The court paperwork was just unsealed: obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a department or agency of the United States and concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. And what they allege here in the course of the complaint that's been filed by the FBI agent who is running this investigation is that essentially this judge used the jury door. So that's the door that the jury comes in and out of the courtroom. It allows the jury to come in and out of the courtroom and be able to move through non-public areas. So that protects them. But it's also a way for other court staff to move through. And apparently she was involved in this case, at least according to the information that the federal prosecutors and the FBI has alleged here in the course of their investigation. She moved this individual who's wanted by ICE, for which there was an active and a arrest warrant for, to be removed from the United States, moved him through the jury door, allowing him to effectively evade ICE agents. This individual was facing criminal charges, 3 misdemeanor counts related to physical assault. And so that's why they were in the courthouse in the first place. Obviously, this has caught a lot of attention here this morning, but this is a case.
Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice. Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be.
Judge Hannah Dugan's arrest is not just about her, right? This is about striking fear in the heart of the judiciary across the entire country. She's the first official who's been targeted by the Trump regime, and that's because they care about destroying our checks and balances. They care about power. That's what this is. It's not about the judge that's in there right now who's just charged with 2 felonies. It's about striking fear in the judiciary across the entire country. Americans voted for a president. They didn't vote for a king. Trump is acting like a king. This is what kings do. What did the FBI director go and do this morning after this arrest? He gloated about it on Twitter. That is absolutely unacceptable. This is unprecedented, and we are here and we are mobilizing today to say that we will not stand until she is free. We will not leave until she is free.
I think, if anything, this is just going to fuel the fire of resistance and outreach in this country. And that, in that sense, that's a good thing, and we're gonna make sure it does.
Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice.
She deserves due process. So do the people that she might have been protecting. Everyone, it's a human right, is due process. Number 2, we will not be intimidated. Not now, not ever.
Free, no justice, no peace.
Kash Patel, the FBI director, we knew this is who he was going to be once he got that seat. Why would you delete the tweet after you tweeted it out? You know you did wrong. You know it's against the Department of Justice rules to even talk about a case. But you want to brag. You and Pam Bondi want to bully the courts. Donald Trump has got these 2 people doing his dirty work. He's after revenge. He cannot accept the fact that there's separation of powers. The court system has a job to do, just like the executive branch has a job to do. The Department of Justice does not work for the president. It works for the American people. And for Kash Patel to go about this the way he's doing, and not giving this judge due process, allowing her to turn herself in and be in and out of the booking process just like Donald Trump was given, is just beneath the dignity of this country. This type of stuff will catch up with these people eventually. I just hope the rest of the court system around this country protects this lady and protects the rule of law. We'll see. And that's going to be it on this one, guys. I ask you to subscribe to my channel. Help me build this channel. Help me amplify my voice. I want to be around, especially for these midterms, so we can stop this type of stuff from happening, what's going on right here. So just subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't take you long at all. And share the video with your friends. Let them be informed on the news that I'll be bringing to you as well. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks a lot. See you on the next one. I ask you guys to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.